Welcome to the WHHI News. I'm Allie McNair, in for Bob Stevens. Here's a look at your headlines. Well, we still don't know what they're accused of doing, but 4 prominent Bluffton police officers are on paid administrative leave and have been for nearly 2 weeks while the State Law Enforcement Division and the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office investigate their possible misconduct. The officers involved include former interim police chief Scott Chandler, who now leads the department's operations division, public information officer Sergeant Bonifacio Perez, quartermaster and fleet manager Thomas Rofausch, and Sergeant Matthew Forelli. Police Chief Joe Babkowitz initiated the investigation but won't release any other details. Have you ever thought about whom you vote for county court clerk? Well, according to an investigation by the Charleston Post and Courier newspaper, at least 6 of the state's elected court clerks, including those from Culloden, Hampton, and Jasper counties in the Lowcountry, have treated themselves to bonuses or pay raises from federal funds that were intended to support children and families. The State Department of Social Services told the paper it doesn't ask county court clerks for any details on their spending, just a summary every few months. The agency does have clerks sign a promise they'll use the money to bolster the child support system, but rarely follows up. Now, back in 2011, Beaufort County Court Clerk Elizabeth Mason Smith pleaded guilty to paying her husband nearly $70,000 from the federal child support account. In an effort to spur workforce housing construction over the last 3 years, the town of Hilton Head Island has adopted a series of incentives for developers in order to encourage them to build more on the island. So far, none of those incentives has created any extra construction, according to an Island Packet investigation. Some developers don't want to play by the town's restrictions on construction. Some cite the construction costs and the interest rate increases that are restricting all sorts of development. But the incentives to convert current commercial property to housing and a density bonus incentive are still on the books if and when outside factors improve. Well, what does it take to be considered a member of the middle class? According to the financial website GoBankingRates.com, here in South Carolina in 2022, it took an income between $42,000 and $127,000 to be considered middle class, and that's not nearly as much money as in many other states. Still, that's $14,000 more than it was in 2012, or a 42% increase, landing South Carolina in the 16th spot among all states for the biggest growth rate in the country to remain in the middle class. It took more than a 50% increase in your income to stay in the middle class in Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. Well, anyone convicted of driving under the influence now has to put an ignition interlock device in their vehicle that will check their blood alcohol level. The new state law took effect this week. The device requires the driver to blow into the device before the engine will start. Now, the locking system will prevent them from driving if their breath registers a blood alcohol content of 0.02% or higher. The device will also require the driver to pull over occasionally and blow into the device again to make sure they haven't started drinking after they've started driving. Well, storms on Saturday wreak havoc at Du Bois Park in Bluffton. Town officials say the park is closed until further notice due to damage from a tree falling on the pavilion. In a social media post showing the damage, officials say town staff are working to reopen the park as soon as possible. Now, for more information on these stories and more, visit the news sources on your screen and be sure to check us out on Facebook, X, and Instagram. If you have a story idea, you can email us at news@WHHITV.com. And now with weather, here's Maria Soden.
Thanks, Allie. Yep, so taking a look ahead, it does look like we're going to get a break from all the rain we've been having, and we're going to see plenty of sunshine. So taking a look at Tuesday, it's going to be sunny with Hilton Head having a high 79, a low 67, Bluffton's have a high 81, a low 65, and Beaufort's in a high 82 and a low 65. The sunrise for Tuesday is going to be at 6:21 and sunset's going to be at 8:18. Taking a look at the tides, high tide's going to be at 8:21 a.m. and low tide's going to be at 3:36 p.m. Taking a look into the rest of the week, Wednesday is going to be partly cloudy with highs in the 80s, lows in the 60s. Then come Thursday, it's going to be sunny with highs in the 80s, lows in the 70s. And then come Friday, it's going to be sunny to partly cloudy with highs in the 80s and lows in the 70s. That's it for today. Let's head it back to the desk.
Thanks a lot, Maria. When we come back, we're going to have a lot of fun taking a look at our local Dancing with the Stars, featuring some of our very own here from WHHI-TV. Don't go away.